today's video, we are going to discuss about the greatest common factor and least common multiple. So, by this lesson, we have in our title, the common. Ibig sabihin, dapat pareha siya. So, pag sinabi naman natin greatest, pinakamataas. And then, pag sinabi naman natin least, pinakamababa. And then, when we are combined, that term, the greatest common, pinakamataas na magkapareho, and the least common is pinakamababang magkapareho. So now, to further understand our lesson, let's proceed with our next slide. So, next slide natin. So, the greatest common factor, or the GCF, so it is a set of numbers will be less than the numbers or equal to one of the numbers. So the common factors of two or more numbers are factors of all the given numbers. So the largest of which is called the GCF. So the greatest common factor. So meron tayong ways to find the GCF of a set of numbers. So first is we're going to write the numbers horizontally and find the prime number that will divide all numbers if possible. So if you remember the prime numbers that we have, so ang prime numbers natin ay eto yung mga nati-divide lang sa sarili nila at sa 1. So again, prime numbers can be divided only to itself and by 1. And then after that, we're going to divide that prime number and write the quotient below the dividends. Then, next is to continue the process until none of the numbers have a common prime divisor. So, the GCF is the product of all the prime divisor. So, to fully understand this, we will have an example later. But, let's have the least common factor. So, pag sinabi natin least common multiple or the least LCM, it is two or more numbers that is smallest number that is divisible by each of the given number. So, to find the LCM naman, ganun lang din siya katulad ng GCF. So, we are going to arrange the number horizontally line. Then, we are going to divide them by a prime factor. So, prime factor common to two or more of the numbers. So, any number not divisible by this prime factor is brought down to the next row. And then, repeat step 1 until no two numbers in a new row has a common factor. Then, after that, the product of all the divisors and the number in the final row is the LCM. Ayan. So, para mas lalo nating maintindihan yung GCF natin and also LCM, let's have an example. So, for our example is, we are going to find the GCF and also the LCM of 16 and 24. So, the first step that we're going to do is to write horizontally yung ating number. So, horizontally, it becomes 16 and 24. And then, we need to get the prime numbers that can be divided into 16 and 24. So, paano po ba yung continuous division? So, ito yung tinatawag nating continuous division. Ayan. So, for our continuous division, so we will find the common prime numbers that pwedeng i-divide sa 16 and 24. So, the lowest prime number na pwedeng i-divide sa 16 and 24 is yung 2 natin. So, ilalagay lang natin siya dito outside, beside our dividends, and then we will proceed in division. So, we will divide 16 by 2. So, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So, ilalagay ko siya doon sa baba ng dividends natin na dinivide natin. So, since 16 yung dinivide ko, below 16 ko ilalagay yung answer. Next naman is 24 divided by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. And then after this is, if we can divide it pa sa prime numbers natin, is we will continue to divide it. So since pwede pa siyang i-divide, sa prime number na 2, we will divide it. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then 12 divided by 2, it is 6. So if you observe 4 and 6, do you think pwede pa siyang i-divide sa another prime number? So of course, yes. So yung 4 and 6 natin, pwede pa siyang i-divide sa another prime number, which is yung 2 natin. Ayan. So dapat parehang number na di-divide siya dun sa prime number. So let's proceed. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. So let's observe again. Is 2 pwede pa bang i-divide sa prime number? So if we are going to try to divide this number by 2, yung 2 pwedeng i-divide sa 2. But yung 3, hindi na pwedeng i-divide sa 2. Which is, hindi siya pwede. What if we tried to divide that number to the next prime number that we have? So let's try the 3, because 3 is also a prime number. So if we divide the number by 3, yung 2 ba pwedeng i-divide sa 3? No. Ibig sabihin, if hindi siya pwedeng i-divide, then this is now our answer. So ngayon, paano natin makukuha yung LCM and also the GCF? So let's start with the GCF. So pag GCF, we will multiply the prime numbers na nakuha natin on the left side, or the divisor that we have. So these are the 2 times 2 times 2, and it is equal to 8. So the GCF is 8. Next, how do we find the LCM? So yung LCM natin is, i-multiply natin tong prime numbers natin on the left side, but this time we will include the numbers na nasa bottom. So ibig sabihin, 2 times 2 times 2, and this one also times 2 and times 3. And then this the answer is, so pwede nating isolve. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, then multiplied by 3, so it is equal to, so 16 times 3 is 48. So the LCM of our 16 and 24 is 48. So this is using the continuous division. So what if we are going to use the common factor and also the multiple of each number? So ang gagawin lang natin is we're going to list the number vertically. So let's say we have here the 16 and this one is 24. So yung 16 natin, so for common factor or the GCF, we will look for the factors of 16 and 24. So the factors of 16 and 24 are, so dito yung 16 natin. So 8 times 2 is a common is a factor of 16. Pwede rin namang 4 times 4. Pwede rin 16 times 1. Next naman natin, if wala ng factors ang 16, we will proceed to another number. So this one is ang factor ng 24, pwede siyang 12 times 2. Pwede rin siyang 8 times 3. And then, pwede rin 4 times 6. It is also 24. So, let's say we have that factors. Ngayon, we are going to list the common factor o yung magkapareha niya. So, the first one is yung ating 2. So, pareha silang may 2. So, this is 2. Ito yung common nila. Next na common is yung 4. So, 4. Another common is yung ating 8. So, ito yung 8 natin. And then, if we can see more factors or common factors, we will list it down. Then, after listing the common factors, now we will choose which of the following factors or common factors yung mataas. Kasi nga sabi, greatest common factor. So, yung pinakamataas yung pipiliin natin, which is 8. So, the GCF is 8. So, if you notice, same lang din siya using the continuous division. So, pag multiple naman, or the LCM, so we will list it vertically also, 16 and 24. So, hahanap lang tayo ng multiple ng 16 and 24. So, let's go with 16 muna. So, 16 plus 16 is 32. And then, another 16 is 48. And then, another 16 is 64. So, 64. And so on. So, meron tayong mga karugtong. Next, let's proceed with this one. So, 24 plus 24 is, or the multiple of 24 is 48. Then another one is 72. And so on. So if we can see now, the common factors or the common multiple of 16 and 24, na pinakamababa, then that is our multiple, which is the 48. Ito na yung pinakamababang magkaparehang multiple ng 16 and 24. Again, if you observe it, same lang din siya ng ating answer using the continuous division. So,